My little brother almost died because of a pill he found in my gym bag. That sentence still doesn't feel real when I write it. He was 14. He wanted to be like me. He wore my old football shirts, copied my workouts, asked me about protein shakes, boots, training drills, everything. And I was so busy pretending I still had control that I didn't notice I had become the most dangerous person in his life. I didn't start as a drug addict. I started as an injured athlete who just wanted the pain to stop. I'm 28 now. This started when I was 24. Back then, my whole identity was built around sport. I played semi-professional football, worked part-time at a gym, and spent the rest of my life training, stretching, eating chicken and rice, watching match footage, and telling myself I was one good season away from something bigger. I wasn't famous. I wasn't rich. I wasn't one of those miracle kids scouts talk about when they're 12. But I was good. Good enough that people noticed. Good enough that older guys at the club would say things like, "Don't waste it, lad." I carried that sentence around like a responsibility. My parents weren't wealthy. My dad drove delivery vans. My mom worked in a pharmacy. They had supported me since I was a kid, driving me to training in the rain, paying for boots they couldn't really afford, pretending they weren't tired after work. My little brother, Jamie, was 10 years younger than me. He absolutely idolized me, which I loved and hated at the same time. When I came home from training, he would be waiting in the hallway with a ball under his arm, asking me to teach him a new skill. I'd act annoyed, but I almost always went outside with him. Then there was Mia. Mia was my girlfriend of 3 years. She was doing a teaching assistant course and worked in a coffee shop. She was funny in this dry, quiet way that made me feel stupid when I tried too hard. She didn't care about football the way my family did. She cared about me. That sounds romantic, but at the time it annoyed me sometimes. She'd ask if my knee was sore. I'd say, "It's fine." She'd say, "I didn't ask if your pride was sore." She saw through me before anyone else did. We had plans. Nothing dramatic. Just normal young couple plans. Get better jobs. Move into a small flat. Maybe get a dog. Maybe travel somewhere warmer than Blackpool for once. I thought I had time. I thought my life was just starting. Then I tore my knee apart during a match in November. It wasn't even a heroic moment. No dramatic last-minute goal, no crunching tackle from a rival, nothing like that. I turned wrong on wet grass, felt something shift inside my leg, and went down. I remember the silence before the pain. Then I remember looking at my coach's face and knowing it was bad. After the surgery, everyone told me to be patient. That word became a punishment. Patient. Be patient with the swelling. Be patient with physio. Be patient with your body. Be patient with the fact that the season was gone, your place in the squad was gone, your fitness was gone, and nobody could promise you'd ever be the same player again. The doctors gave me painkillers for recovery. I won't name them because the name doesn't matter. At first, I took them exactly how I was told. My knee felt like it had a heartbeat of its own. Sleeping was hard. Stairs were impossible. Showering felt like a full workout. The pills helped, not just with the pain. That was the first thing I should have noticed. They made everything quieter. The fear, the anger, the shame of needing help to get off the sofa, the panic when I watched my teammates post training clips online, the sick feeling when I imagined some younger player taking my spot and never giving it back. One pill and the world softened. I could breathe again. I told myself that was normal. I was injured. I had a prescription. My mom worked in a pharmacy, so I knew the difference between medicine and drugs. That's what I thought anyway. Mia stayed with me through the early recovery. She brought food, helped me change bandages, drove me to appointments, and watched movies with me when I was too embarrassed to leave the house. But after a few weeks, she started noticing I was different. "You seem not here," she said one night. I was lying on the sofa, half asleep, with a football match on mute. "I'm tired." "You're always tired now." "I had surgery, Mia." "I know. I'm not attacking you." But it felt like an attack because deep down I already knew something was wrong. When the original prescription ran out, I panicked. Not because my knee hurt that badly anymore. because I didn't know how to get through the day without that warm, floating silence in my head. I called the clinic and said my pain was still bad. They gave me a small refill and told me to start reducing. I said I would. I didn't. I started counting tablets, planning my day around them, taking one before physio, one after, one before bed, sometimes one just because I felt that crawling anxiety under my skin. I hid the packet in my gym bag because Mia had started staying over more often and I didn't want her asking questions. That gym bag became my little secret. At first, it was just medicine in the wrong place. Later, it became a loaded gun I carried around without admitting it. The first time I took more than I was supposed to, I told myself it was because of pain. That lie worked for a while. Then I took them when my knee didn't hurt at all. That lie was harder, so I made a new one. I told myself I needed them because I was depressed. Then I told myself I needed them because I had to get back to training. Then I told myself I needed them because everyone expected me to be strong, and without them I was angry, sweating, restless, and useless. Every excuse sounded reasonable when I was the only one hearing it. Physio became a nightmare, not because of the exercises, but because it showed me exactly how far I'd fallen. My leg was smaller, my balance was gone. I couldn't sprint, I couldn't cut left, I couldn't trust my own body. I started taking pills before appointments so I wouldn't snap at the therapist. Then, before going to the gym, then before seeing Mia, then before family dinners. Mia noticed more than I wanted her to. "You're slurring," she said once, quietly, after dinner at my parents' house. I laughed at her. "I'm not drunk." I didn't say drunk. That sentence scared me, so I got angry. "You're always looking for something wrong with me now." Her face changed. "I'm looking because I'm worried." I told her she was being dramatic. She cried in the car on the way home, and I stared out the window pretending not to see. That became a pattern too. She would get close to the truth. I would make her feel guilty for noticing. I hate that version of myself more than almost anything. When the prescriptions stopped, I should have stopped. Instead, I started asking around. Not loudly, not like some criminal mastermind. Just small questions to the wrong people. Guys at the gym. A former teammate who always seemed to have something for pain. A guy who said he knew someone. I told myself it was temporary. Everything was temporary. The injury, the pills, the lying, the money I borrowed, the way Mia looked at me like she was trying to find the old me behind my eyes. I started selling things. First, my spare boots. Then a watch Mia had bought me for my birthday. I told her I lost it at the gym. She didn't believe me, but she didn't say so. Then I sold my old PlayStation, some training gear, a signed shirt I had loved since I was a teenager. Jamie noticed the shirt was gone. "Where's your Rooney shirt?" he asked. I said, "Put it away." He looked disappointed. He loved that shirt because I loved it. At home, my parents thought I was just depressed about football. They gave me space. My dad tried awkward little speeches about setbacks. My mom made food and left it in containers. Jamie kept asking me to train with him. I kept saying, "Not today." There are only so many times a kid can hear that before he stops asking. The first real scare happened in a supermarket car park. I had taken too much before driving to meet Mia. I didn't feel high. I felt calm. That was how I justified it. I wasn't out of control. I was just relaxed. I clipped a trolley bay while parking and scraped the side of my car. Mia got out and stared at the damage. "What is wrong with you?" I said, "It's a scratch." "No, you. What is wrong with you?" I lost my temper. I shouted that she didn't understand what it felt like to lose everything. I said she liked me better when I was useful. I said she only wanted the football version of me. She stood there in the car park with tears in her eyes and said, "I miss the kind version of you, not the football version." That should have broken me. Instead, I drove away and ignored her calls for 2 days. When I finally answered, she said she needed space. I acted like I didn't care. Then I spent the night taking pills and refreshing her Instagram like a pathetic idiot. A month later, she broke up with me. Not in a dramatic, screaming fight. Worse, she was calm. We met in a quiet cafe. She looked exhausted. She said, "I love you, but I don't feel safe around you anymore." I laughed because I didn't know what else to do. "Safe? I've never touched you." She looked at me like I had missed the whole point. Safety isn't just about hitting someone. I didn't understand that then. I do now. She said I lied constantly. I disappeared. I forgot conversations. I was either numb or furious. She said she had found messages on my phone from people asking about money and pills. I called her controlling. She said, I hope you get help. I said something cruel. I won't write it here because it still makes me ashamed. She left the cafe crying. I went to the toilet and took 2 pills. That was my response to losing the girl I loved. Not chasing her. Not apologizing. Not admitting the truth. Just swallowing more of the thing that had helped me lose her. After Mia left, I got worse fast. I moved back fully into my parents' house because I couldn't afford anything else. I told everyone I was focusing on recovery. Really, I was sleeping until noon, lying about physio, and spending money I didn't have. I stole cash from my dad's coat once. Then again, I took coins from Jamie's drawer. That one still makes me sick. He had been saving for new boots. I told myself I'd put it back before he noticed. He noticed. He asked Mum if she had moved his money. She said no. My dad said maybe he miscounted. Jamie looked at me from across the room. Just one quick look. He knew. Maybe not everything, but enough. A few days later, he knocked on my bedroom door. You can have it, he said. I was lying in bed, sweating through a hoodie, waiting for a message from the guy I bought from. What? The money. For my boots. If you needed it, you could have just asked. I told him to get out. He apologized. He apologized to me. That is the kind of person I was becoming. The unexpected thing was that Jamie didn't pull away after that. He tried harder. He started leaving protein bars outside my room, sending me football clips, asking if we could go for walks. He said things like, when your knee's better, we'll train again, yeah? He still believed I was coming back. I think that made me hate myself more, so I avoided him more. Then came the day everything happened. It was a Saturday. My parents were out visiting my aunt. Jamie had a school match in the morning and came home buzzing because he had scored twice. I remember him coming into my room without knocking, still in his tracksuit, talking a mile a minute. You should have seen the second goal. I cut inside like you showed me. I was barely listening. I was sick, not flu sick, withdrawal sick. My skin was crawling, my stomach hurt, my hands wouldn't stay still, and every sound felt too loud. I snapped. Can you shut up for 5 minutes? His face dropped. He said, sorry. Then he noticed my gym bag on the floor. The zip was open. I saw his eyes move to the small packet inside, but I was too tired and too stupid to care. I said, get out, Jamie. He left. About an hour later, I found the bag zipped up. I didn't think anything of it. That is the part I replay most. I noticed the bag had been moved. I noticed, and I did nothing. That evening, Jamie said he had a headache. My mum told him to drink water and lie down. He had played a match, so nobody panicked. I was in my room, staring at my phone, waiting for someone to reply to a message. Then I heard my mum shout his name. Not a normal shout. The kind that cuts through the house and changes your life before you know why. I ran into the hallway. Jamie was on the bathroom floor. His face was pale. His lips looked wrong. My mum was kneeling beside him, shaking so badly she couldn't unlock her phone. My dad was yelling for me to call an ambulance. For a few seconds, I just stood there. Then I saw it. One of the pills on the floor near the sink. Not in the original packet, just loose. Mine. My body went cold in a way I cannot describe. The ambulance came. There were questions. Too many questions. What did he take? How much? When? Was it prescribed? Was there anything else in the house? My mum looked at me. I looked away. That was the moment I could have told the full truth immediately. I didn't. I said, I don't know. Even with my little brother barely conscious on the bathroom floor, I tried to save myself first. That is what addiction did to me. At the hospital, everything moved too fast and too slow at the same time. Machines, curtains, nurses, my mum crying into her hands, my dad pacing like he wanted to punch a wall but couldn't find one that deserved it. A doctor asked again what Jamie might have taken. My dad said, he doesn't take anything, he's 14. Then my mum turned to me. Her face had changed. Not angry yet. Afraid. What was it? She whispered. I said nothing. She grabbed my sleeve. What was it? I broke. Not fully, just enough. I said they were painkillers. Mine. From after surgery. My dad stared at me. You left them where he could get them? I wanted to say it was an accident. I wanted to say Jamie shouldn't have touched my bag. I wanted to say I was injured, I was struggling, I didn't mean it. But then the doctor asked if they were definitely prescribed to me, and I couldn't answer. My mum let go of my sleeve like my skin had burned her. That was when my dad understood. He didn't shout, not there. He just sat down slowly in a plastic chair and put his face in his hands. Jamie survived. I need to say that clearly. He survived. But those hours waiting to know that were the worst hours of my life. Mia came to the hospital because my mum called her. I don't know why, maybe because she knew Mia had seen what they hadn't. When Mia walked in, I felt relief for half a second. Then I saw her face. She already knew. She looked at me and said, "Please tell me this wasn't because of you." I started crying. She covered her mouth and stepped back. Not dramatic, not loud. Just one step back. Like being near me suddenly felt dangerous. I said, "I didn't give him anything." She said, "But you brought it into the house." I had no answer. Later that night, when Jamie was stable, my dad took me outside the hospital entrance. It was cold. People were smoking near the doors. Cars kept pulling up and leaving. Normal life kept happening, which felt offensive. My dad said, "How long?" I said, "What? How long have you been on them?" I lied out of instinct. "Not long." He slapped the wall beside my head so hard I flinched. "Not me. The wall." He said, "Your brother is in a hospital bed because of your not long, try again." So I told him, not everything, but enough. The buying, the money, the lying, the stolen cash, the fact that I hadn't been going to physio, the fact that Mia left because she knew, the fact that I didn't know how to stop. When I said that last part, my voice cracked. I don't know how to stop. For the first time, my dad looked less angry than broken. He said, "You should have told us before he paid for it." That sentence has never left me. When we went back inside, Jamie was awake. Barely, drowsy, confused. Small in a way I had never seen him before. He looked at me and tried to smile. That made it worse. He whispered, "I thought it was for your knee." I couldn't breathe. He said, "I just wanted my head to stop hurting." My mum started crying again. I said, "I'm sorry." Jamie nodded like he was comforting me. Even then, even lying in a hospital bed because of something I had brought into our home, he was trying to make me feel better. That night, I finally understood that my addiction was not some private battle I was losing quietly. It was a fire, and everyone who loved me had been breathing the smoke. My parents didn't let me come home after Jamie was discharged. I don't blame them. My dad packed a bag for me and left it at my uncle's flat. He put my clothes, toothbrush, phone charger, and knee brace inside. Nothing else. No football shirts. No boots. No old photos. Just the basics. That hurt more than I expected. My mum texted me once that night. "Jamie is safe. You need help. We love you, but you can't be here right now." I read that message maybe 100 times. Mia came to see me 2 days later. I thought maybe she was there to forgive me. That sounds insane now, but addicts are selfish even when they're crying. She wasn't cruel, she never was. She sat across from me in my uncle's tiny kitchen and said, "I'm glad Jamie is okay." I said, "I'm going to get clean." She nodded. "I hope you do." I said, "Could we maybe, after?" She looked down at her hands. "No." One word. Quiet. Final. I started crying and said I loved her. She cried too, but she didn't change her mind. She said, "I loved you, but I disappeared trying to save you. I can't do that again." I wanted to argue. For once, I didn't. She hugged me before she left, not like a girlfriend, like someone saying goodbye at a train station. I watched her walk away and knew I had lost her properly. Not because she stopped loving me overnight, because I had made loving me unsafe. I went into treatment the following week. Detox was ugly. I won't dress it up. I sweated through clothes. I shook. I couldn't sleep. I hated the staff. I hated the other patients. I hated myself. Some days I wanted to run. Some days I wanted to call the same people and start all over again. But every time I wanted to leave, I saw Jamie on that bathroom floor. That image kept me there when nothing else did. Recovery did not give me my old life back. That's the part people don't like hearing. My knee never fully recovered. I don't play at the level I used to. I don't work at the gym anymore. For a while, I couldn't even watch football without feeling like someone had pressed on a bruise. I work in a warehouse now. It's fine. Honest work. Boring sometimes. Hard on my body. But it pays my bills and keeps my days structured. I'm 20 months clean. I still don't say cured. I've learned to distrust big, confident words. My parents speak to me again, carefully. My mom hugs me longer than she used to, like she's checking I'm really there. My dad and I don't talk about feelings much, but he calls me every Sunday evening and asks if I watched the match. That's his way of saying he still wants me alive. Jamie is 16 now. He's taller than me, which is annoying because he mentions it constantly. He still plays football. He's good too, really good. For a long time, he didn't ask me to train with him. Then, one afternoon, about 6 months ago, he texted me. "Can you help me with finishing drills? Don't be weird about it." I sat on my bed and cried before I replied. We went to the park that weekend. I didn't coach him like the old days. I didn't act like the big brother who knew everything. I just passed him balls and gave small advice when he asked. After an hour, he sat on the grass and said, "I was really scared that day." I said, "I know." He shook his head. "No, you don't. I was scared because I thought Mom and Dad would hate you forever." That hit me harder than if he had said he hated me. I told him, "You should have been scared for yourself." He shrugged. "I was, but you're my brother." That's the thing about hurting people who love you. Sometimes they still love you after. And somehow that makes the guilt worse. Mia is engaged now. I found out through a mutual friend. I didn't look at her profile. I wanted to, but I didn't. That was one of those tiny recovery choices nobody claps for. I just sat with the pain and let it be pain. I hope she's happy. I mean that now. The old me would have wanted her to miss me forever, just so my damage felt important. The person I'm trying to become knows she deserved peace. I don't know exactly why I'm writing this. Maybe because I used to think addiction had to start with bad choices, parties, dealers, needles, some dark alley version of life I could look down on. Mine started with a doctor, a knee brace, and everyone telling me to take it easy. It started with pain that was real. But somewhere along the way, I stopped treating pain and started feeding fear. I lost football. I lost Mia. I lost my parents' trust. And I almost lost Jamie. That is the part I can never soften. My little brother took one of my pills because he trusted that anything in my bag must be safe. Because I was his hero. I don't think I'll ever forgive myself for what happened. But I stay clean because forgiveness isn't the only reason to keep going. Sometimes you stay clean because the people you hurt are still alive. And that means you still have a chance to stop hurting them.